The witching hour demands an offering. Tonight, it's truth wrapped in fear. Welcome to the Deadtime stories. Fall asleep if you dare. They say the veil is thin at night, that there are hours when the world softens just enough to let something else bleed through. I used to think those stories were just that, stories. That was before I opened a door I didn't know how to close, before Aunt Betsy started whispering. I was 16. My best friend, Maeve, and I were inseparable, drawn together by our shared love of all things strange and supernatural. We spent summer evenings sprawled across the back porch of my family's weathered Victorian house, a place that already creaked and sighed like it had secrets to tell. The air always smelled like damp lavender from my grandmother's old garden, wild and overgrown, creeping up the porch like it wanted inside. One late July evening, with fireflies blinking lazily in the dusk and cicadas humming low in the trees, we decided to try something different. Maeve had brought a spirit board, not a store-bought plastic thing. This one was carved into a thick slab of wood, stained dark with ornate letters that shimmered faintly under candlelight. She said it had belonged to her great-grandmother, a midwife and folk healer with a reputation in her Appalachian town. We lit 3 candles, one for protection, one for guidance, and one for the dead, as Maeve put it. The wax dripped slowly down onto the wooden slats of the porch. I remember the way the wind stirred just then, soft and cool, brushing the back of my neck like fingertips. We sat cross-legged, fingers resting lightly on the planchette, hearts thudding with nervous excitement. I told Maeve I wanted to speak to someone from my family, someone who had passed. I didn't know many names, but there was one that stuck in my memory from an old photo my mom kept in the hallway. A woman in sepia tones with sad eyes and the name Rose written beneath it. I thought it was a beautiful name, and I'd always been curious as to who she was, but I didn't know anything about her. I figured she was a great aunt. I wanted to find out more tonight. So I said quietly, "Is there anyone here with us? I'd like to speak with Aunt Rose." But what came out of my mouth was, "Aunt Betsy." It was as if something seized my tongue. My breath caught in my throat. Maeve looked up at me slowly, her hand still resting on the planchette. "Who?" she asked. I blinked. I didn't know. I tried again. "I want to speak with Aunt Rose," I said aloud. But again, my mouth said, "Aunt Betsy." A chill settled between my shoulder blades. Maeve furrowed her brow. "That's not who you meant, right?" "I don't even have an Aunt Betsy," I said with a forced laugh. But something shifted then. The porch grew colder, and one of the candles guttered suddenly. The planchette began to move. Slowly, deliberately. Hello. Maeve and I both gasped. We stared at each other, unsure whether we were doing it ourselves. I asked, "Are you Aunt Betsy?" "Yes." That night something changed. I felt it. The heaviness in the air, the way shadows seemed to stretch a little longer near my bedroom door. When my mom got home, I told her about the game, laughing nervously. It was so weird, though. I kept saying Aunt Betsy, but I don't even know a Betsy. She stopped dead in the hallway. Her face went pale. "You did have an Aunt Betsy," she said softly. "She died as a baby. We never talk about her. I almost named you after her." I couldn't sleep that night. My room felt too still, the shadows too deep. And just as I began to drift off, I heard it, a soft whisper right next to my ear. "I remember you." I jerked upright, heart hammering. No one was there, but the air smelled like wax and lavender. Over the next few weeks, things escalated. Every night I heard footsteps. They circled my bed, soft and deliberate, but always stopped just before I could open my eyes. I told myself it was the house settling, but deep down, I knew better. One evening, just after midnight, I heard my father in the kitchen, the clatter of a mug, the soft scrape of a chair. I smiled, comforted by the normalcy of it. I got up, padded down the hall, but when I turned the corner, the kitchen was empty, dark, still. My father was asleep in bed. Another time, I was lying awake when the mattress shifted beside me, dipping under the weight of someone unseen. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I just laid there, frozen, while something breathed beside me. Maeve believed me, but even she started growing distant. One night, she said the board had changed since we used it, that it hummed when she touched it, that she dreamed of a woman with dark hair and no face. College didn't make it stop. If anything, it followed me. I saw a girl standing over my roommate's bed one night. I thought it was one of the girls from the next hall until I realized she had no legs. She hovered. My roommate never slept in that room again. Another night, the mattress dipped again. This time, I whispered, "Betsy." Silence. Then, the cold brush of fingers against my hand. I still dream of the porch sometimes, of the candles, of the moment I said her name, even though I never meant to. They say names have power. I think some names remember you back, and some doors, once opened, don't close.